Hello, I'm Mohammad Mamadov. In this video, I'm going to explain the way I implemented our last project for the Web and Mobile 1 course. So it's basically Flashcards application in React. In this application, users can create, view, edit, or delete flashcards. So let's get started. I decided to make this video based on the parts of the instructions. So it starts with the JSON server. So actually, I already created the JSON server before the video because it takes some time. So we have three different terminals. The first one for the flashcards.json. We use this command, JSON server flashcards.json and port 3001. We use another JSON server for messages.json with port number 3002. And for the last one, we just write npm start to start the application. So it starts with home page here. So this is my home page. So some paragraph about myself and some projects that I implemented. So to create this project, to create this home page, I have home JSX home component, and inside this home component I have my header, my paragraph, and I also have a list of projects, and these projects are mapped from project list. And in fact, project list is another JS file that I opened to store my information about all those projects here, and I export from this file and import it to home.jsx, and I map over all of them, and for each single project I apply create project function. So create project function is here. So it takes any project as an argument, and it returns project element. So it's clear that project is also another component that I created. So let's have a look at that one, project.jsx. So inside this project I used probes so that I can pass different values of properties in the home.jsx, and each project holds information about its title, description, and an external link to the project repository or the live page of the project if it's related to web. And the second thing I want to discuss here is the navigation bar I implemented, the nav bar. So to implement that, I used React Router. So I have a navbar component here with navigation links, and here is the information about let's say the endpoints, the URL sections, the last portion here, and I used the name of the repository for the home one to not experience any issues while deploying. And I imported this navbar component in app.jsx, and I used it here, and after that I write my routes for all those pages, and all of them are encapsulated in browser router to make sure that the functionality of the navigation bar. So what I mean by functionality is that when I move to other pages it moves successfully. It just doesn't reflect on the this part, on the navigation part, but also on the pages as well. And I have 3 routes for the pages and 1 route for the no page. It actually is 404 message that I created, small component, so it just returns the header element saying 404 not found. So that's it. I have home, I discussed this component, and flashcard page and contact form, and I'll explain them after a while. So let's continue with flashcard structure. So it's basically about the structure of each single flashcard that I'll render. So basically each flashcard holds some properties like its ID, front, back, last modified status, and some effects of functionalities like on edit, on delete, and on toggle selection for the select box. So here I create that part visually for each flashcard, and I have different class names for the CSS. Actually, I'm not gonna deep dive into CSS in this part, but I like to discuss some properties of those fields, especially the input ones and button ones. So for checkbox and for buttons, as you can see, for all of them I have on click. So basically for the checkbox I just stop propagation of the event. So it basically is called event bubbling, and it makes sure that the click of select box or the buttons for the edit and delete, they don't interfere with the flipping effect of the cards, so that when I flip the card, let me show you. When I flip the card here, as you can see, it doesn't flip, but when I flip outside them, it flips. And I have handle click. Handle click is passed to handle click is passed to here inside. Let me see, inside, yes, card item. So this basically is about all the cards. So when you click on all card, so it changes the state of the is flipped. So is flipped, I here used react hook use state to track the state of is flipped. And similarly I have is selected. So is selected is for the selection of the tick mark on checkbox. So to handle that I have handle checkbox change. So it also stops propagation, and when it is checked it just sets the is selected to its opposite value. I pass handle checkbox change for the on change property of the checkbox, and is selected for the checked. So that's from the card.jsx file about the overall card structure. And yeah, I forgot one small function. It's about converting the ISO time to user-friendly format. So in my flashcards.json, the times are in this format. They are not user-friendly. It's hard to understand. But with this function, I can convert it to month, date, year, and hour, months, hours, minutes, seconds, and AM or PM, this format, which is very user friendly. And I apply it here for the last modified time in this paragraph element. And I have another functionality. Let's continue with instructions. It's about create, open to add new flashcards. So let me show you. So I add this one, this plus, and I can add flashcard. Let's say 3 plus 6. So back part should be 9, and let's choose it as noted and add card. As you can see, it's here, and when I click it, it's here. So I also want to show some side effects, so that if I try to submit the empty card, it just sends an alert message. By the way, I made them user friendly with the sweet alert swallow library. And this is close button in case the user decides not to create a new card. So let's deep dive into the code at card.jsx. So it basically holds three properties: is open, on close, and on add cart. So is open, in simpler words, is checking, is kind of state, not actually state, but is parameter, checking whether the pop-up is open or not. And on close is about the opposite of the is open, so it is closed or not. And on add card is about adding the new card. So I have hooks, use state hooks for setting ID, front, back, stats, and last modified sections of the card, of the new card in the pop-up. And for the last modified, I use the current time, so it should be the recent time that for being added to the recent elements. And for the status, I just choose want to learn as a default value, but the user can change it if he or she wants. So let's look at this section. So this is our front part, we have text area, and for the back part, similar text area. For status, I have select box with options and buttons. The first button is adding cart, and the second button is closing cart. So for text areas, I have set front and set back. So depending on the user's input. So I passed it to on change. So when user changes the front part or back part, it's reflected here. And for the select box, I similarly change the status. So for event, I take its value, its target, and its value. And for the handling add cart, for adding cart, I have handle add cart. It is here. So it basically checks if the user included empty field and decided to add new cart. So the program alerts the user, and if all the fields are filled, then we have new cart object with the properties of a normal flashcard. And we have on add card functionality here. Actually, this will be implemented in flashcard page, in my main flashcards page, but here it in a sense adds a new card, but it will be implemented in flashcard page. So after that, after adding the new card, we want to make our pop-up empty for the next card being created. So I set front, I set back to empty string, and I also set ID by incrementing the previous one, and I call it here on close, so which is basically showing the close part, closing of the pop-up. And this one will also this one is also here on click. So but in details it will be in flashcardpage.js. So inside flashcard page, I have add card gsx, the one that I created here in this part. So let me show you add card. Yes, as you see, it has properties is open, on close, and on add card. So before looking at is open, as I said, on close is handled in this part and on add card here. So it's on close is simple. It sets new card open to false. And actually this state conversely, when add button is added, is set to true because new card is opened. So let me find the place of that hook. Yes. So it is here, new card open, set new card open. So it's a React state to kind of handle the state of the pop-up. Is pop-up open or not? And I have handle add cart. Handle add cart takes the cart and creates a new cart by spread operator by changing the last modified time to the recent time, to the last time that I pressed that add button and submitted. And here I have a fetch operation, and so basically here I sent post request to my JSON server to make sure that when I add the card, it's also added to the flashcards.json file as well. So before we created 3 plus 9 and 3 plus 6 and 9, yes. So let's look at our flashcards.json, the last part. Yes, it's here, front, back, last modified stats and ID. So I want to comment here about the ID being the last property. So I researched about it and it's quite normal. So in JSON file it doesn't affect any functionality, and it's normal that the order of the properties can be changed, can be different. So if we want to make them all same, we should make this equal to some kind of array. But since this is JSON, sometimes ID can be added to the last part or the change of other properties. So where we left here, flashcard page. So basically I handle network errors here, and at the end I have a catch block for detecting the error. And here I have set flashcards. So set flashcards basically sets the value for flashcards, and flashcards refers to the flashcards that are displayed. I mean the one that are done before searching, sorting and filtering, and I'll also explain it in the display part. So I take the flashcards and I add the new card here, and of course set new card open is gonna be false, because if I press the handle the pop-up will be closed, and the set card added, this is the state. Let me find its place. Yes, card added, set card added is a state to track the value whether the new card is added or not. So in this case, since it's added inside this function for handle add card, it should be set to true. And looking at here, it's add card here on add card. So when I add new card, it's handled with the function above, handle add card. So this was about handling adding cards and handling them. Now I'd like to discuss the edit update functionality of the cards. Let me demonstrate it. So I choose this card, edit, and let's say I decide to make it 3 plus 6 plus 2, and the back part will be 11, and let's change the stats to learned. And when I press save, I see that all of them are updated, the back part as well, and also the time is updated to the current time, 11:39 p.m. and 09 second. So I also want to show one side effect. Let's choose edit and let's leave this field as blank and try to save. And as you see, we get an alert message that we cannot add it, and the user can also cancel this edit pop-up in case he or she decides not to edit. So in my project I used edit flashcards component. So edit flashcards has four properties: card, on save, on cancel, and is active. So actually the names represent the needed parts for editing the card itself. On save related to functionality, or on cancel, and is active, showing whether the edit is active or not. In other words, whether the pop-up is open or not. And I have two handlers here: handle input change and handle save. So I use handle input change for text areas, for the front part, back part, also the status, which is select box, and for handle input change I destructure the event.target, this object, as its name and value. And I have a use state hook here with edited card and set edited card. So basically it sets the edited card the information. So the default value is the value of the card itself with the spread operator. So in handle input change, what set edited card does is that it looks for the card, and it adds the new properties to the card which are different. For instance, it saves the value of the previous card with the spread operator, but what it adds is name value, which is taken from event.target. So this means that this makes sure that only some parts of the card can be updated. And I have the last modified, the last one, to change the last modification time when the update happens on the card, as well when the edit happens. And I have handle save. So this is basically for handling the save button when the user clicks on the save. So inside handle save, I check for front and back part to make sure that user didn't leave them blank before editing the new card. So in case he or she did, I alert them with the message with the specific name of the field with the key. And then I add the new card on save edited card. So on save actually comes from the property here, and it will be more clear in the flashcard page.js. So inside flashcard page.js, my main component to handle cards, I have edit flashcards here, and as you can see it's conventionally rendered depending on the value of the editing card. So editing card comes from this hook, use state hook here. So constant editing card, set editing card. So this means that when that edit is pressed, I mean when the user clicks on that edit functionality. And similarly I have start editing and cancel edit. So start editing basically takes the ID and passes it to set editing card. I mean it sets the ID for the editing card, and for the cancel it just makes it null, the value of the editing card. And here I have save changes implemented in details. So it takes the card, it takes the edited card, and it sets flashcards. As I mentioned before, flashcards referred, that state referred refers to the displayed flashcards before the functionalities searching, filtering, and sorting, and it maps over all those cards and finds the card with the same ID. Finds the card being really edited, and then it sends put requests to the flashcards.json server to make sure that the changes are reflected on the local storage as well, and then as usual handles the network errors. And after making the editing is done, so we just set the editing card to null value to make sure that it's fresh for the new cards that are gonna being edited. So I explained the edit functionality, and I also explained the way that how the changes are also reflected on the JSON server, but I also want to show it one more time. Let's change it +1 and this will become 12, and when I save, I see from here from JSON server that it's also updated here. So every time I change something, editing or adding, they are also reflected on the JSON server. They are also done on the local storage. So let's move on to the delete function. So it basically removes a card from the collection. So let's say we want to remove this card, delete, and as you see it's removed. And let's check our flashcards.json, and it's also removed from here as well. So let's look how that function works. If you remember, in our card GSX we said that we create each single card, and each single card has onDelete property, and here in this case onDelete, this function is passed inside handleDelete function, and handleDelete is a property on click. It is passed to the on click property of the button, delete button. So when button is clicked, it goes to handleDelete goes to onDelete, and onDelete is actually pro. So it depends on the way that it's implemented here. So for onDelete, I here implemented delete flashcard, which takes the ID of a card and removes it. So this function is here. So if I have the ID, I can get, my delete function works in this logic that it gets all the remaining flashcards, and we achieve that by applying array function filter on our flashcards. So we apply filter on flashcards such that the ID of the card is different than the ID of the card that is being deleted. All cards that has different ID are collected in the remaining flashcards part. So then we change the state of flashcards to remaining flashcards, and we send delete request to the flashcards JSON with the specific ID of the element, as we did with the edit functionality. Then, as usual with all operations, we handle the errors, network errors. If we have something wrong, we throw error mentioning failed to delete card ID with the ID of the card, and if we have error, we just console log that error. So actually this was short, but it's basically all about the delete flashcard functionality. So let's see what we have more. We have display cards, list of cards sorted by most recent modification. So display cards is the part that will mainly discuss flashcards and set flashcards part. Actually, I wrote this. I mean, we see that we used it in all functions, but it's because of the display. Because when we apply it, we should also change the state of flashcards to make sure that it's also reflected on the user interface. So for displaying, I use a use effect, and I pass empty array as dependency to make sure that there are not multiple network requests, unnecessary network requests. So I fetch from this URL my flashcards, my JSON server. I get the response, and from response I get response JSON. I check the data, I take the data, and on that data I apply sort function. So basically this sort takes two dates and returns date 2 minus date 1. I mean, it sorts based on the ascending order from the latest to the oldest according to the date property. And after that, it just sets the flashcards of those sorted cards and displays it later on. And I'll also show that, but it will be discussed in the search filter sort search filter sort options. So here is the use effect, but there's one more point also. When we add new card, this won't work because we need to fetch again. So for doing that, I have another use effect here, but this time it takes card added. So it's the state to track whether the card is added or not. So if the card is added, so it's in my dependency array, so this will run whenever something changes with card added. And by the way, it also solved the issues of refreshing the page for being able to access, edit, and delete functionalities while adding new cards. So there's no need to refresh the page if we have this one. So if card is added, I just fetched from flashcards, which is updated with the newly added flashcard, and I repeat the same thing as I did before. And I get the data and I set flashcards. I set data to my flashcards, and of course since the card is added, we should reset its value to false to make sure that it works smoothly for the new cards being created. So here is about display, but what the real thing is being displayed is those three functionalities that are applied on cards. These are search, filter, and sort. So for that, I created one interesting variable called searched, filtered, sorted flashcards. So basically I take flashcards. As I mentioned before, this flashcards refers to the flashcards before those functions are applied. I mean, flashcards are also these flashcards, all of them, but in different order, in the order that they are in the flashcards.json file. So first of all, I apply filter function to filter them based on their card status, and after filtering them I get some results, some new set of flashcards based on the status, and on that result I apply another filter function. But this filter, although it's array function filter, it serves for the searching functionality in my project. So I check whether the card front or card back contains the element that I type in the search bar, in the search term. And then I take the result of these two functions combined, and I apply another function for sorting. So I did sorting based on most recent to oldest and oldest to most recent. So I thought that this would make more sense than sorting based on the ID, because ID does not help the user a lot. And I have comparator, and this comparator, if the sort option, this comparator sorts based on the ascending or descending order by looking at sort option, the last modified. And I just returned that comparator for the functionality. And let's also show here on the application. Let's write, for example, cross. We see we have one card and the crossword is here. Let's remove this, and let's turn this card around, and let's write this scalar word. Scalar. Actually, we have many cards with scalar, and I believe those card is also one of these. And I have here filtering based on the status. Let's choose among these the noted ones. So I have only one noted one. So this is by default is in most recent to oldest. This is created on 27 December, and this one is 21 December. So let's change it to oldest to most recent, and as you can see, they changed their places. And by the way, I have different components for my search bar, my filter menu, and my sort menu. These are small components for rendering these visual elements that we see on the screen. So let's go over them. The first one was search bar GSX. So it basically takes two props, search term and on search change. So basically on search change determines the value that is being changed, while search term gets to the value of the input, to the search input here. We have filter menu GSX, similarly filter status and on filter change, filter status for the value and on filter change for the filter menu. And we have sort menu, yes, and sort menu here again, sort option on sort change, and we have two options, most recent to oldest and oldest to most recent. And actually the values of these properties in all of them, these two properties, are assigned here. Let's go here, yes, search term, set search term. So search term is actually state. I mean, it's variable taking its value from the state. So search term basically refers to the text that user types in the search bar. So it's reflected here. Search term equals to search term, and on search change equals to set search term. And for the filter menu, I have the similar states: filter stats, set filter stats, and set sort option and set sort option. So filter stats is here, and of course when it's all, this means that we can choose all of them. I mean, for each card the filter gets true the card is added to the list. Otherwise we select based on the filter being applied. So that was basically about searching the cards. Now let's see what we have more. We have share function. So basically share function is the one about these checkboxes that you see on each card. So let's say I choose these three these three cards, and after choosing them I can press this share button and it suggests opening mail. And as you can see here, the data of all those cards in JSON format are added to the body of the mail message, while the subject is being set to flashcards. Let's see how we implemented that functionality. So here I have share cards component. Yes, here I have share cards component. So this is the component that I imported here, which takes two properties, selected flashcards and flashcards. So basically selected flashcards refers to the flashcards that we tick the checkbox, and flashcards refers to all the flashcards. So let me open that component real quick. Yes, it is this one. And we have handle share. So handle share basically is the function that is being passed to the on-click property of the share button. So when the user presses the share button, it goes here. So it basically checks whether the selected flashcards length is equal to 0. If it's 0, it alerts the user. So it means let's not choose anything and let's just hit the share, and it says please select at least one card. After that I have selected card details. So for selected card details I refer to my selected flashcards and I map all over them, and based on their ID I find the flashcards I find the flashcards that holds the same ID for being able to choose all those selected flashcards. And for the email body I have selected card details being passed to the argument of stringify function in JSON, and here we have two indents. And mail to URL basically helps us to open the mail with the subject flashcard and the body being email body, and for being in JSON format and not having any issues with the URL format, I apply encode URI component function. So that's about flash share cards here in this part. Let's see about it in flashcard page.js. So basically share cards, we have the component here I imported, and I have selected flashcards and flashcards as the properties, and selected flashcards actually is the one that we use the use state hook. So we set selected flashcards and we have selected flashcards, and of course it's being the functionality, the property functionality of the is selected here, and it basically checks whether those cards includes card ID or not. And I have handle card toggle. So handle card toggle is the one that handles these checkboxes. For instance, I toggle them or I don't toggle them. It sets selected flashcards based on the previously selected ones. So if the previously selected one includes the ID of the card being selected, so it filters the one that it's not selected. So basically this is the one making sure that if it's selected, make it not selected, or otherwise make it selected, so it adds the card ID to the selected ones. And I have searched and filtered and sorted flashcards. So this is for sure that I apply this functionality on the cards that I see on the screen. For instance, if I see on these cards, if I see these cards, I apply on this. But if I let's say if I filter based on learned, I apply on these cards. So it should be that variable. So after all, this is the these are the cards that we see on the screen. What we have more, this was about share function. I didn't implement drag and drop because of the time issues. And we have as the last part of the bonus pagination or infinite scrolling. So I applied infinite scrolling. So I did that with infinite scroll component in React. I installed it and I imported it here. So infinite scroll component, I wrapped my rendered flashcards that I see on the screen inside infinite scroll. And this infinite scroll has 4 properties here. These are data lengths, next, has more, and loader. So for the length of the data, of course I inputted the lengths of the searched, filtered, sorted flashcards. For the next, I have fetch more data. I'll explain that function now. For the has more is kind of condition to check whether there are more cards or not. So for the has more, I have searched, filtered, sorted flashcards.lengths is less than flashcards.lengths, which are basically all the flashcards in flashcards.json file. And for the loader message, I just have break element in HTML. Let's see what our fetch more data is about. So here, fetch more data, I have set timeout and I have set displayed cards. So I have displayed cards, set display cards as use state, which takes the initial value of 7. So these are the cards that I see on the screen for one time. Let's refresh the web page. So as you can see, I see only 7. If I scroll more, I'll see 7 more. If I scroll more, I'll see 7 more. So each time I add 7 more cards here, and this happens over the time interval of 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So let's see where these displayed cards go. So these displayed cards are being reflected on searched, filtered, sorted flashcards. So I apply slice method on them, and I basically show the ones from 0 to displayed cards. So displayed cards takes the initial value 7, then it gets 14, 21, 28, and so on. So that's basically the way that I implemented infinite scroll. And of course it resets. For instance, if I choose want to learn, again I load more and I see that effect. So in this case it seems I only have I guess yes 12 cards going for the want to learn section. And the last part is about contact me. So contact me is basically about I search let's say subject, let's say email is a.gmail.com and content is QWERTY, and when I submit, so it says that mail is successfully sent to local storage. So let's check the local storage. It is messages.json, and here I see it, ID, subject, email, and content. So let's see how I implemented this functionality. So basically I have another component, and that component is contact form dot JSX. So for contact form, I have handlers, handle change and handle submit. So basically handle change sets the form data. By the way, for tracking the form data I used use state hook with the default value of empty strings, and each time it's changed I add the respective field and its target value, and handle change are being applied on input text, input email and text area elements. And handle submit is added to form tag. So when the form is submitted it goes to handle submit, and in handle submit I have a synchronous function. So this part basically here alerts the user in case he or she missed some part in the message. For instance, if I want to submit, it says please fill in the subject field. If I fill that, it will say please fill in the email field. If I fill the email but don't fill the content, it will say please fill in the content field here. And after that, after alerting the user in case it's not full, I just move on after he or she fills all the data for the blanks. And here I sent post request to my message.json. So I sent post request to JSON server by passing the form data, and then I handle the errors. So if there's no problem, I just alert the user that it's successfully sent to local storage, and I set form data to empty values for being clean for the next message. And otherwise I say that there was error sending the message with the set text of the response. And if I have error, I just print the I just alert the error message. So that was all about my flashcards application. I hope you enjoyed this implementation.